and go live. So, all right, we're gonna get started. Hi everyone. If you can go to attendance.offsec.club. I just don't have it up on the slide, but I can also post it in Slack. But just attendance.offsec.club. Fill it out so we know you're here. We're gonna have Dr. Wong here to talk about a couple of research opportunities that are available on campus, and they're paid. Normally we don't have like businesses coming here, but this is a little different because it's at DSU. So we pulled a bit of an exception there. So I'll let Dr. Wong take it away.
Thank you. All right, hello everybody. So my name is Yun Wang. So I know many of you, but I think I didn't know all of you. And I'm a graduate faculty here at the DSU. It has been about 10 years, so I mainly teach graduate courses. So I'm going to wait for a couple of years. I hope to see all your faces showing up here in the graduate courses. So let me start with this. I think sometimes when we have visitors, they come here at the DSU and they ask, why do you think the DSU is very unique? And the answer I always told the visitors here is, I think the culture at the DSU is very unique. What kind of culture? Because we really have a group of students. You guys have the motivation, you guys have the passion about cybersecurity, about computer science, about anything related to computer, including games, right? So let me do this first. I think if you have been an officer for this club, or you have been the current officer of this club, can you stand up to be recognized? All right. Thanks. So it's you guys make this happen. I think it's you guys make this club strong. So continue to do the good job there. Thank you so much. So I'm here. I mainly talk about the REU opportunities at the DSU. And REU stands for Research Experience for Undergraduate Students. And here we received the grant from NSF in 2019. And we already host a summer camp in 2019. So this will be the second year we're going to host a research camp, which is called REU Set in Internet of the Thing. And we're going to host here at the DSU. And this summer, actually, all the students are going to work in the new MedLab buildings, if you are selected. So the theme for the research is focusing on the security of the Internet of Things. So I'll give you a little bit more information about it in just a few minutes. And the research projects we are going to work on this summer, including the IoT device vulnerability exploitation, the malware analysis, and digital forensic, ethical hacking, and incident reconstruction. And also, we do something about the access control in the IoT. So you want to know more information, you can email me, or I'll be glad to help you to understand what kind of projects we are going to work on. So we have 10 students. We're going to select 10 students to participate in the camp. And the students will be divided into groups, probably 4 to 5 groups, and each group will be paired with a research mentor. So we have 4 research mentors, for this summer. So including myself, Ashley, Josh, and also the Robert. And so you probably know a few of them. And either way, you are going to work with some research mentors and working on the project. Most likely, it's going to be very hands-on project. And to apply this program, you have to be a bachelor or or associate degree in the current at the DSU, and you also have to be U.S. citizen, U.S. nationals, or permanent residents. And we hope you already finish some minimum of 15 credit hours above the 100 courses because you are doing the research project. So we do want to you have the programming skills and some other skills, to create some meaningful outcomes there. And but we also make an exception, though. We know we have lots of talented students at the DSU. If you said, I only take a few courses, but I think I'm great. I'm good. So you can also apply. We also encourage you to apply. So you can just make it clear in your personal statement, or maybe provide some evidence to support that. Yeah, I'm great. Yeah. So as Carol said, this is a paid position, and this is a 10 weeks summer program. I think this year in 2020, the camp started from May 26th until July 31st. I think a 10 week summer program. And each week you're going to receive $600 stipend, so $6,000 stipend. And each week you also receive $120 for meals. And we also support housing through the DSU dorm service. So last year we have the students, we place them in the courtyard, and you get a room there. And this may not apply to the DSU on-campus students, but if you travel from other places and come to the campus, we also have up to $600 for travel support. So those are the benefits. The good thing here about it is it's within the DSU, it's in the med lab. And this is a 10 weeks summer program, right? So this is a rough schedule about what we are going to do in the summer. So basically, we are trying to give you the trainings. So we're going to have some workshops. We're going to have some field trip. Last summer, we went to the areas and we visited their facilities in the Dare Rapids. And we also go to the undergraduate research symposium, which is scheduled in the summer, like in the end of the July. So we make posters, research posters, we display our posters, and there are some visitors, they are going to check your posters, you can talk to them too, yeah. So this year, we plan to go to the undergraduate research symposium too, yeah. To apply this program, and you can go to the website. I'll give you more information later. And to submit your application, we need a personal statement, and just trying to show the eligibility of your application and what course you have taken, some projects you have to work on, and so on. So we will also want to include a resume in the application. We require a copy of academic transcript. And if you have anything like a class project assignments, some term papers you have done before, and if you think that is good, and you can also include it in the application files. So this way we're going to receive it. That will be something which can be a plus for your applications. On the other hand, and you also need a letter of reference from faculty members. So I don't think that will be a problem. So the reference letter needed to submit to me. It's not submitted through the website there. So this is the application process. And here are some important dates I think we want to remember. So March 31st, that will be the application deadline. And we have a committee. We're going to review the applications. So we're going to send the notification for acceptance by April 15th. The summer program will start from May 26th to July 31st. So May 26th will be the first day after the Memorial Days. So that is some information about the REU program. And if you want to apply, and you can go to the website. It's called cybertraining.pro. So if you go to the cybertraining.pro, and it is shown on the website. So REU setting IoT security, just click this button, or it will lead you to the application forms. You can just fill the form and collect all the information for the application. Then you can submit through this form. So go to the cybertraining.pro, and you can find the application link there. So just click the Learn More, and it's going to direct you to the application website. All right. So that is the REU set at DSU. So we're focusing on the security in the IoT. If you guys promise and you're going to apply our REU set first, then there are more information available from the NSF, because the REU is a program sponsored by the National Science Foundation. And almost all the REU set, and they have the same benefits. So all the summer programs, they provide the stipends, they provide the meals, they provide the housing, and so on. So if you go to Google and just Google NSF REU, and if you Google this one, it's going to lead you to NSF National Science Foundation website. And if you click the link, you can see if you want to search the REU set from other institutions, you can just click the search for an REU set. And the program I think most appropriate to our students here is Computer and Information Science and Engineering program. So if you click this one, there are many opportunities available for you. So you can find which program is interesting to you, and then you can apply through their website. So everything here is linked to their applications. So you should be able to find all the information easily. So last week I received some information from another faculty from the New Mexico State University, and they actually host one of the REU set. It's called Big Data REU program, Big Data Analytics for Cyber Physical System. So basically, they're going to do some data analyzing, programming, and some other things. So it's in New Mexico State University, which is very close to Leno. I know there are a few students, I think they're going to have summer interns there. So if you are interested, you can also check their information. If you are looking for reference letters, I'll be glad to write a reference letter for you too. Not for our own website, but for other people's REU set. All right. So I have some brochures here, and you guys can feel free just to pick some brochures and find some more information about it. Oh. So if you have any questions, here is my information. So my office is in the East Hall, room 332, and you can send me emails, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. Any questions so far?
Yes, you mentioned projects and such like that applicants should submit. Do you specifically want IoT projects, or is this more to...
No. So what the student we're looking for is like programming skills, data analyzing skills, the problem solving skills, and anything which can show those skills. I think is going to be good, for the review purpose. Yeah. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Before I give time to Cal, I will give you guys just wanted to mention a little bit about the PATRIOT lab. So PATRIOT lab is one of the lab I'm leading, and our goal here is trying to secure the Internet of Things. So that is also the same for the REU set, because the REU is in IoT security, and this is also what we are trying to do in the PATRIOT lab. So for the PATRIOT lab, the IoT security, we have lots of interesting projects, and we're focusing on the vulnerability exploitation, we're focusing on the security remediation, and we also do some other interesting projects. And so if you wanted to know, I always looking for students, I always want to find ways, to engage students to the research, to the PATRIOT lab. If you guys want to know more information about what we do at PATRIOT lab, if you guys want to find something, spending the time, doing research, working on the papers, working on different projects, please send me emails too, and I'll be glad, to answer any questions you have. So PATRIOT lab, we're always looking for students to working on different projects. All right, questions? Thank you. All right, here is the brochure. Feel free, to pick one, yeah?
If you just want to leave those here, I can bring whatever's
Sure.
left.
All right.
Now we have Adrian to come up and talk about his rubber ducky project that he's been working on, and I'll let him take it away. So, and we'll keep those flyers up there for anyone who wants to grab one. I'll just take whatever's left at the end. So, hopefully a few of them are picked up.
All right. set up here. Okay, let me just start off by saying I am in no way affiliated with Hack5, and I don't want to get like copyright striked or anything. So I'm calling this the Ducky on a budget, the Hack4 toolkit, essentially. So let me pull some of these out. Just plug this into my own laptop. Alright, so up here I've got a couple of modules. Livestream is of course not going to be able to see this. They're just Raspberry Pi Zero Ws. I've got some pictures on the slide here that I'll go over. My name is Angel Gamboa, and this is kind of just like a cool little device that I kind of charaded together using open source tools and frameworks and some cheap hardware. So I'm going to show you guys kind of the logistics of running through how it works, some attack scenarios, and why it works. So starting off with USB basics, it's a good background to cover. There are 4 cables. I know this might seem like common sense to some of you, but there are 4 cables. 2 of those provide power, the other 2 provide data. Well, 2 are required for that charging, whereas the other 2 are required for the data transfer. Common sense tells us that wired keyboards use these 4 cables to communicate with the computer interface in a HID manner. It's a human interface device. Now, the rubber ducky abuses this by acting as an HID, human interface device. So our project has to fit these same standards as well. The conventional Hack5 Ducky, you guys may or may not be familiar with it, has lots of functionality. I believe it came out in 2010. Don't quote me on that. But it can emulate mass storage. It can emulate a flash drive using an image file that you provide. It can emulate keyboards and mice. And it also has its own Ducky scripting language that is somewhat versatile, but it does have its own limitations. It's also $50, so that's definitely more than I could dish out on a single project, especially something that has the chance of getting caught and thrown in a garbage bin. So how effective can an HID attack be? How effective can sitting behind somebody's computer be? Well, let's take a few scenarios. Instead of creating a really awesome payload that isn't picked up by any antivirus yet, why not just sit down at the computer while it's unlocked and take the files yourself? Trying to bypass network firewalls? Why not just connect the computer to your own network and bypass any network firewalls? You have an air gap target? Well, we can connect this and un-air gap it in a sense. I'm going to be showing you guys some of those payloads in progress as well. The human interface device is not really a virus, it's a keyword. Antivirus doesn't pick up on these, however, there are a lot of prevention methods and some forensic techniques that you can see that this has been used on a machine. There's a lot of extensive research actually done in the field. There was one gentleman by the name of Lucas who did a really good presentation that goes over way more in depth over different devices and chipsets that he used for his project. The link is on there. I'll post these in Slack later. We'll get them out to you. There's also the presentation as well that he did. Now, our goal with this project is to create a low-cost replacement for the USB rubber ducky. I'm not paying $50, but I want to have a few things. I want to have keystroke injection, duh. I also want to have the ability to emulate mass storage, just like the Ducky. And I also want to be able to bypass air-gapped machines, or their lack of connectivity. I want it to be kind of versatile in the manner that I can swap out payloads while it's deployed without having to redeploy it. And I want to make it cheap. Now, of course, it's $10 real estate. That's because the Pi Zero W costs $10. Boop. So here we introduce the Pi Zero. It's actually the Pi Zero W. I should have changed that earlier. But this Pi Zero W has a few different interfaces. It has Bluetooth, wireless, it's small, it's cheap, $10, and can utilize a single cable to connect over USB to do everything you need. Here's my rough and cut little version 2 prototype. It's got a weird gluing of the cables for power and data and a USB port that just connects. For regular prototyping though, you can just take your phone charger for a micro USB cable and make sure to connect it to the second one, and I'll show you why here in a sec. I also use the PwnPy Aloha framework. It provides a
bunch of different capabilities that are much more versatile than sometimes even the Bash Bunny. You guys might have heard that from Hack5. It's another expensive tool that does similar things. It has features like Ethernet over USB, so how you would tether your phone to your computer to get internet over that USB connection. It also has its own versatile scripting language that is based around JavaScript, so you can use like functions and all these cool things that are built into the language by default. It can emulate mass storage and also has a somewhat decent air gap bypass published currently, but you can also make your own. The docs for it, actually the wiki is right here below. The GitHub project is right there. And I'll get you guys those links out too. Now the Versatility device, right now I'm going to kind of show you one of the interfaces of the device. You may be scared at first if you're not familiar with command line interfaces of working with a Pi, because it's literally Kali in a sense on a Raspberry Pi. However, it has a beautiful web interface to help get started and get on the ground running with it. Right now I have mine set to Ian's iPhone. Make sure. Okay, cool. And what this does right now is it's using host APD to make its own access point on this Pi. So this is your access point, and it's also a DHCP server. Whoop. So go ahead and go here. Yeah, sorry. All right, so here's the kind of the web interface for it. You go right to that address and that port. This is the interface if you're connected to it over its access point that it spawns, but there's also a different IP for if you connect it straight to your computer and use the RNDIS Windows USB tethering interface. So here we've got a few different things, a few different tabs. We've got USB settings, which is kind of like, hey, you can set this up to say different things when you plug it into a Windows computer. By default, if you plug this in, it's going to say PwnPy MAME82, your serial number is deadbeef, which isn't covert in any way. You can set these and modify these and check different options like, oh, do I want the Ethernet to work for this? No, I don't, so I turn that off. You'd have to deploy these and all that. The web interface is somewhat friendly. The really cool part about this is you can store these presets. You can kind of make your own loadout per se. So if I want to go here and I want to load a stored preset, I've got a few different ones to kind of demo. There's a mass storage one that I have set. And it'll throw it. It doesn't apply that because I haven't deployed it per se, but now this is set to use a mass storage image that I created to only register as a keyboard as well. And that's all through the same device. We also got things over here like Wi-Fi settings, we got Bluetooth, network settings, depending on what you want to do with it. There's just so much you can do with the platform. It's kind of unreal for me to go over each detail through this presentation. I'm still kind of working through it myself. There are main scripts where you can select full deployments of all these little templates. There are a couple of default ones, startup and Wi-Fi covert channel, and this is one I made, standard operating procedures, startup, RNDIS. Basically, it's your loadout. It's select your class, and you're good for your next adventure. Let's see. Present here. Whoop. Because I'm off the internet. Can't do this offline? Gosh. What? I just had that already. All right, let me disconnect real quick. Sorry about that. Anybody have any questions so far? All right. We'll get to the demonstrations here in a second. Okay. All right. Okay, so a couple of things when making my own scripts for this and kind of modifying the ones it had as well. There are some things to keep in mind. Whenever you open PowerShell, some of you, if you've never opened it, the first time it opens, it's actually relatively slow before you can actually start inputting stuff. So you do have to account for that in your scripts, and we can go over that in a second. I usually set a default of 1100 milliseconds. That way it allows for PowerShell to actually load and start accepting input, or else your Ducky will just throw a bunch of halfway made payload on the screen afterwards. Now also keep in mind, on your target, there are different versions of, say, PowerShell. For this, I'm using Windows as a target. Some commandlets you want to use may not be available for that version of PowerShell. So attack scenario 1. User Dave left their computer alone. Dave's not here, man. We're not able to access the computer besides physically. We want the files, though. So we rig our PwnPy Aloha to steal the files, store them to an SD card, FAT32 formatted. We plug in the device, we leave around the corner, and we wait some time. Now this, of course, is just a simple copy command that's running on the machine, so it could take, depending on how big the files are, how many you want, a good amount of time. So I'll go ahead and pull this up. Gotta swap computers now. I'll actually show that script really quick. So it's nothing too impressive. Come on.
Is it not loading because you're still on DSU server?
Oh, you're right. My bad. Disconnect. Make sure it's going. That's weird. Not picking up any Wi-Fi. Okay. Well, while that loads, there's actually a script on screen. That's one of the ones that it comes with. And we've got some commands that are specific to this language, like typing speed. That actually sets out the rate at which you want to type, and you've got some variables and some variations in the second parameter. You can do stuff like press, and you can hold down a combination of keys. There you go. Okay, so it's weird.